A very good afternoon, you all. I, Dr. Jyoti Khudnapur, Coordinator, Research Club Meet. Sir, we'll start, sir.
Yes, you start.
There are some instructions to all. Kindly mute while the talk is going on. At the end, we have a discussion session. During that time, if you want you want to ask any questions, kindly unmute and ask. Thank you so much. A very good afternoon, one and all. I, Dr. Jyoti Khudnapur, Coordinator, Research Club, welcome you all for the 39th Research Club meet. I welcome today's chief guest, Professor K.G. Akkamanchi sir, Chairman, Research Club, Dr. M.S. Biradar sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, BLD deemed to be University, Convener, Research Club, Dr. Sumangla Patil, Professor and Head Department of Physiology, static leading force behind the Research Club, Professor Kusal K. Das sir, and my dear teachers and friends. Once again, I welcome you all for the today's Research Club meet. We have with us leading scientist Professor K.G. Akkamanchi sir as our chief guest. Sir is now as an adjunct professor at Department of Allied Health Sciences, BLD deemed to be University. Sir has held a number of positions in the past. Sir was head of the Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Technology, Mumbai, Dean of Research, Consultancy and Resource Mobilization, member Board of Management at different deemed to be University and Elite Institute of Government of Maharashtra. Sir is associated with industry as a consultant, independent director on the board of leading API manufacturing company. He was an academic council member of University of Mumbai and member of board of studies of several universities, member of board of studies in Pharmacy, University of Mumbai. Sir is the fellow of Maharashtra Academy of Science, recipient of Best Teacher Award from Gardha Chemicals Limited, given at the Institute of Chemical Technology, expert member on NAB, DSIR, AICTE, and selection committees of faculty of different universities. Sir has developed different technologies for the manufacture of API, some of which are commercialized. Has a good number of patents to his credit, guided more than 55 PhD students and has over 115 research publications in reputed international journals. 80 students have completed masters under Sir's supervision. Sir has delivered different lectures in conferences in India and abroad. In the last 10 years, Sir has diversified his research towards design, synthesis, and evaluation of heterolipids for siRNA delivery and has good number of publications in pharmaceutics journals including MOI, Pharmaceutics, International Journal of Pharmaceutics, and others. siRNA delivery study has been completed at University of Marseille, France under a collaborative program. Other research interests are process design, that is process chemistry and technology, synthetic organic chemistry, protein isolation, plant natural product extraction technologies. So here I present a great human being and scientist, Professor K.G. Akkamanchi sir, to you all. Now I request Professor, a continuous static leading force behind Research Club, Professor Kusal K. Das sir, to say a few words about Research Club.
Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I like to thanks to Professor K.G. Akkamanchi sir to accept our invitation to be the guest speaker of today's 39th monthly Research Club meeting. I like to thanks to Dr. Jyoti, Mr. Anand for taking the initiative and all the support for today's first ever online meeting of the Research Club. Respected Chairman of the Research Club, Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. M.S. Biradar, Convener Dr. Shumangala Patil, and all the faculty members of Department of Physiology and Basic Sciences and University itself. It is great privilege to have Professor Akmanchu with us. As we all know that we have initiated to start the first ever the research club in this university in January 2017. One of the reasons for the research club initiative to discuss science with a cup of coffee. It is very informal, and though it is spirited with science, medicine, or any branches of allied disciplines, including literature also we have entertained, philosophy, sociology, all. But mainly it is the place where young researcher of the Department of Physiology as such, with senior faculty members of Department of Physiology, later with many senior faculty members of the departments of pathology, anatomy, biochemistry, etc., including the surgery, orthopedics, general medicine, have been joined in these great ventures. The first research club actually in the world has started in London. That is the Research Club London in 1891. Under University of London, specialized subjects were mainly medicine. So it is very interesting. The research club in oldest research club so far existing and functioning is Research Club London, was established for the purpose of discussion with medical sciences branches. And its first president was Charles Sheddington, who got Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine. So history is very enriched. Currently, it is under University College London. At the beginning, a couple of decades, it was running with the knowledge triangle of England, that is called Oxford, Cambridge, and London. These three called as a knowledge triangle of England. So with this, it has been started, though Sheddington working in Oxford University, but we heard that he used to attend the monthly meeting every times without failures. And this research club of still which is existing has given around 24 Nobel laureate, 24 Nobel laureate has given by that research club. So this is the story behind the first, and I was having opportunity to visit once when I was in UCL London. And it is in the Bloomsbury campus, very close, near to the British Library, and lovely places, but not in the university campus. A separate building they rented, and still that building is under rent. That's what I heard when last time I visited in 2016. So this is the story behind it. So purpose and objectives are very clear: support, share, and discuss, healthy discussion, argue, and debate. As university, the most important part of the university is to having a healthy debate in every aspects of science. So this research club actually make for that purpose, and 39 we have completed, except 2-3 we could not do it due to the COVID and some other reasons. But we have almost tried our best to conduct the research club as best as possible. So this is a great journey, and I thank specifically Professor B.G. Mulimani sir, who was actually supportive in 2017 first under Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. M.S. Biradar. Together they came and supported and inaugurated personally the first meeting, that is last week of January 2017. I hope this research club will continue forever. It is an asset for the university to groom and to breed the new researchers, new observers of science, and with the breeding ground for the future researcher in a very high levels. And I wish one day somebody from this research club will get at least a Royal Society Fellowship or Nobel Prize in future. With this, I end my talk and this brief discussion about the research club. I once again give thanks to give me this opportunity. I really thankful that Professor B.J. Akkamanchi sir, Professor K.G. Akkamanchi sir, who is one of the renowned scientists, is with us, and let us listen his story of his research journey. Thank you very much. Over to Jyoti.
Thank you. May I start now?
Yes, I think you can start.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Berada, Professor Das, a distinguished researcher in BLDE, and all distinguished participants. I am very happy and thank the organizers for inviting me to participate in this research club to share some of my ideas and my way of looking at the research and how one can contribute in your own way. One thing at the outset, let me tell you that I am from a chemistry side and you are all distinguished doctors serving the humanity in a great way. So my language of chemistry will be slightly different than the language of your medical professionals. So there could be some communication issue could be there, but I will try to minimize it. Okay. So molecule, I am basically an organic chemist, and then working in pharmaceutical chemistry. And for organic chemist, molecules are the object of their study or everything in organic chemistry surrounds around the molecules. Now, molecular design and synthesis has become an important area because most of the natural product have been explored, their study has been carried out, their structural elucidation has been carried out, and so the chemistry has now crossed the explorative phase into creative phase. Now everybody expects for chemists what you are creating thing with the available knowledge and with available resources. So molecule is central to many areas, starting from perfumes, dyes, surfactants, drugs of course will be there, then excipients and many more. You can entire chemistry is central to chemistry. The central is the organic molecules. So the design of those molecules with your desired properties is a key area of research in chemistry. A molecule has I will distinguish between the two features. One is molecule its intrinsic property. Second is molecule with the interactive properties. Most of the activity or properties shown by the molecule is by way of interactive property. For example, if a drug molecule is an interactive property between a molecule of a drug and a receptor. And in case of dyes, it is an interaction between electromagnetic radiation and organic molecules.
Sir, beg
chemicals.
Beg your pardon, sir. Sir, are you sharing any slides?
No, they said the slide is not to be used.
Okay, no, okay. Thank you. No problem. Go ahead.
That's why I'm not. Otherwise, I have a good number of slides.
Okay. Right. Okay.
I specifically asked, they said, no, this is without the slides.
No, yeah, well, no problem, sir. You can just go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So then, see, then the molecules can be modulated to perform your the work or the activity you would like to you desire. Say a perfume can be designed and can be designed. A perfumery molecule is an interaction between the olfactory receptors and the organic molecules. Drug, I told you already, is with respect to receptor and the molecule. Next is excipient molecule. Their function is carry the molecule from the site of administration to the site of target. So that is the role is different. So that is called those now we are calling as a molecular carrier. How we want to carry the drug molecule either as a conjugate or as a part of a molecular assembly like liposomes, etc., and take it to the target. And these excipient molecules can be used not only as a carrier, but they can be used as solubilizers, they can be used as stabilizers, and many other functions you can provide. An organic molecule also is now used as fluorescent tagging molecules. Now you all notice that all fluorescent or fluorescent proteins are tagged with the fluorescent molecules, and that work is extensively done everywhere. These molecules also can be used in diagnostics. So various uses are there for molecules. So the molecules are the central to the creativity with respect to various functions which you desire. So my area of interest initially was with respect to drugs design, etc. Later on, I have switched over to excipient molecules. So in that particularly, I have taken up lipids. The purpose of taking the lipid is that if you now notice, most of the new chemical entity introduced in the clinical or in therapy are having a major problem of solubility and bioavailability because of they are designed by way of HLB adjustment, etc. So quite a good number of them are having a high lipophilic and usually show solubility problem in water and also absorption issues. So it has been estimated that around 40% of the new drugs introduced in the recent past are having this issue of solubility and transport. And any drug molecule to be successful, in addition to interacting with the receptor, it has to also have to be taken there without in adequate concentration and without getting metabolized. So there are various challenges are there in molecular design to achieve the success. So specifically, if I have to say with respect to drug design, a drug molecule can be designed by different methods. Some of the well-recognized methods are by analog design. Say, for example, you synthesize say, around 20 molecules with drug design criteria, either by using QSAR models or some pre-knowledge that is available.
Yeah, you are not audible.
Yeah, I'm just, I don't know what has happened. Any problem with the presentation?
No, I think you are not, or your networking is not good, I think.
No, it is, I'll recheck it.
You can just switch off your switch, this one, huh? Yeah. Hello, Anand.
Hello, sir.
Anand. Yeah. I think the site is off now.
Unmute the video, sir.
Sir, kindly, kindly start the camera, sir. Das, sir.
The camera, yes. I have started the camera.
Sir, the visible is not. Sir, face question.
No, yeah. Am I visible now?
Yes, sir, you are visible. And
Okay.
audible also, sir.
Okay. And I think that Akmanchi's side is not visible,
Yes, not visible, sir.
and he's not audible also.
Sir,
I think his network was not good. Just try to connect Akmanchi, sir. What is the status of him? He is disconnected or connected?
connecting, sir. Sir is connecting, sir.
Connecting. Okay.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, you are audible. Sir, please, you are audible. You go ahead, sir. Go ahead. Hello. Hello, Akmanchi, sir. Akmanchi, sir. Are you hearing us? Hello. Anand, Mr. Anand. Anand, are you here?
Tell me, sir.
Yeah. Anand, what happens to Akmanchi, sir?
There might be some net issue at that sir. Akmanchi sir side.
Net issue. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think this. So, Jyoti. Yeah, I think that you just ask all to keep the mic on now and let us discuss till sir join.
Yes, sir.
Video and mic, let it be on for everybody. Just ask everybody. Let us see each other.
I
Yes.
request all participants to kindly unmute and take a discuss.
Hello,
with-
sir.
Yeah,
Good evening.
good evening, very good evening. Let us see each other because it's a routine meeting we usually conduct in our department. Now this time it is online, and last time also we are online, but that was a different issue. That was A.S. Painter birthday, so that was separately we have celebrated. Yeah, all are here only. Let us see each other. Dr. B.S. Patil, I am seeing. Manish is there. Chandramouli, they're there in the Central Research Lab. And like me, Dr. Shureka is in the home, it looks.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes. And I'm not finding the others. Silakshmi and all other people are there.
They are there, sir.
Dr.
Yes,
Manjunath,
sir,
I
yes.
saw. Lata is there. Dr. Lata is there. Shumangala.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
here, sir.
Yeah.
I'm this.
Okay. Yeah. Shumangala, did you join today? You have joined today, Shumangala?
Yeah.
You're on leave.
Yes, sir. Today morning
Oh,
only.
you get in and I get off.
Yes.
Yes, Silakshmi is also there. So I think that sir was discussing with a very important issue. That is
Yes.
there's a designing of the molecules. So in a biological system, the molecule is very important. Though it required the fundamental understanding of the chemistry, but the applied aspect for medical sciences, we know the importance of each of the molecule. Based on that, the drugs are also prepared. So I was giving us the fundamental ideas about how the molecule is synthesized, which is specifically the synthetic molecules. So designing of a drug, it is very important. He might be going towards the drug later, but unfortunately we could not able to enter. So anyway, I think still sir is trying. Jyoti, yeah. What is the situation up now? Is
Sir is trying to connect, sir.
Sir is trying to connect. Okay. We have Dr. Swastika. We have Gavish also here. Let me see the gallery. Yes, Ishwar is also there. Yes. Yes, Lata is also there. So you can now put on your camera on, so that you can see each other. At least what we do in the normal research club meeting, we see each other and sit and had a cup of coffee or tea. This time coffee is in missing.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello. Hello, Lata.
কিছু শোনা যাচ্ছে না তো?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, it is audible.
Audible.
Yeah, Lata is there. I think it is, we are sad that we could not able to hear just beginning only. Professor Akmanchi sir could not able to connect, and he's not there also. I'm finding that he's trying to connect it. He's not in connections at the moment. So please, any one of you, please share anything about the science, what you did in science, except the NAC. Except the NAC, what are the other things? Because I'm seeing the NAC deputy coordinator, all are here.
Right now, forgotten science, sir. only NAC.
Yes, that is true. That is true. But I think Dr. Badikar sir is also there. Dr. Shayan Badikar, I'm seeing, sir is also here. But it's unfortunate that we are unable to continue this talk at all. But we'll see for some times. And I just like to know about each one of you that how you are doing it. Let's see that what. First, I will ask Chandramouli. Modi, what you are doing? What you are doing in science? As Lata has said that they are all busy with the NAC. University people may say that we are busy with the NAC, but you, Manish, are pure scientist also. So tell us what you are doing, Manish and you. Yeah, unmute your hand. Please tell
Yes, sir.
what you are doing in science now.
Yeah, I'm learning some new things with Manish sir, like
Yes,
large data analysis. Till now, I worked in animal models.
right.
Now I am learning R programming to analyze the big data and presenting in a different graphical presentation.
Right, right.
Lab designing, that work.
Yeah, that's I know. Yes, that is also part of a research, very important part and constituent. And I'm thankful to you and Manish Silakshmi for doing this job remarkably. So thank you for this you are doing.
Sir, extending what Chandramouli has just said, so we have got medical data from the hospital.
Right.
We are trying to analyze it. This medical data is specific for COVID patients.
Very good.
So
Very good.
we use the data from the biochemistry mostly, and we also get information from ICMR site. So
right.
Has a login ID for ICMR site, so we collect the data from there, and we match what is available. Means how many of these patients are COVID positive and COVID negative. Right. And at the end, I'm analyzing like 282 patients for 41 variables.
Good.
So right now the analysis is in process, but some of the parameters which are significantly different, we can share in this platform. So I found that C-reactive protein is significantly different between COVID positive and COVID negative patients. Other than that, ESR level, so these are female patients. Okay, let's begin with the male patients. So,
this is our hospital, our hospital data. Yeah.
Hospital data.
What about the ICMR data set?
So ICMR data is just about the COVID positive and COVID negative patients.
Right.
PCR results.
Because in the hospital data, we haven't found information about how many of them are positive, which are positive cases and which are negative cases. So
right.
We need to find out which one are positive and which one are negative. So we use that data and we compare the two, because we are also using this hospital IDs. So
right.
hospital IDs are common in that data, and also whatever we are filing in the ICMR database. So we use the hospital ID, we are collecting the information when all the biochemical parameters has been done on the day one when they admitted into the hospital. And we are trying to see the underlying patterns, which parameters are significantly different between the COVID positive and COVID negative patients.
Did you calculate any correlation graphs? Anything?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have the correlation graphs as well. We have the ANOVA, the t-test. I have done the t-test. Yes. And some of the critical parameters which are significant as well are the C-reactive protein, D-dimer, and
platelet distribution,
monocytes level, and platelet distribution width, and not the platelet counts. So yeah, and also the serum ferritin level, serum creatinine level, serum potassium level. And recently we found a few publications where they have mentioned that serum potassium is the marker in COVID-19 patients. So why?
What about the ferritin level correlation with the hemoglobin as such?
So creatinine level with the hemoglobin. So
ferritin. Yeah, ferritin and hemoglobin level. What exactly they are showing? Is there any correlations with that?
Sir, ferritin we haven't found in all the patients. So
right.
Whatever the parameters which are there in almost all the subjects, those parameters we have considered for the analysis.
Right,
but they have hemoglobin as a parameter.
Yes, yes, they have done it. I think they might have taken the hemoglobin also from the blood profile. They have taken hemoglobin.
Hemoglobin is there.
Yes.
Hemoglobin is there, but ferritin it was not there in most of the patients.
Yeah, that is very interesting. What you think of it, that ferritin, if it is not there, but hemoglobin is in the normal level, and COVID is directly connected to the oxygen sensing mechanism. So how you correlate with each other? Manish?
Sir, right now there is no correlation between hemoglobin and ferritin level. So ferritin is an indicative of inflammation. It is higher whenever there is a, correct me if I am wrong because I am not a medical student as such.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Ferritin level and CRP are indicative, and D-dimer are indicative of inflammation.
Yeah, I think that.
Now you are able to see?
Yeah, Professor Akmanji sir has
Hello?
rejoined. Yes, you are seen also.
Hello?
You are audible also. You are audible.
Hello?
And
Now are you able to see?
Yes, we are seeing and you are audible, sir. Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead. Please go ahead, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, you please go ahead. You are go ahead. Go ahead, sir. Hello.
I'm able to see all of you, but I'm not able to. I just see whether unmute is there on your side.
No. I have already unmuted. Jyoti, please.
I'm able to hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm able to hear. I'm able to see Das sir. I'm able to see his calendar and that entire thing.
You are audible, sir. Please go ahead.
Sir, you are audible, sir.
I'm audible. Okay. I came out through another network.
Yes.
Okay. So sorry for the interruption. See, yes. Now coming to the molecular design, I have to just through that last 3 years ago, molecular motors, molecular switches have got a Nobel Prize, which is basically molecular design for using molecular rotors, molecular motors, and also they are now developing a system where molecules can be made to move inside the body. So that is the level the molecular design has reached. Maybe they will be used. See, they have used an ATP system to give the mobility to the molecule inside the body. So they can move the molecule just like any other motor by providing glucose and ATP molecules and make it to move from one place to another. So that is the level of design they are now there. Now coming quickly, so that since there is some interruptions are there, I will directly go to the molecule. See, molecule has a different level of structures. First level is atom connectivity. Then the next level is the three-dimensional connectivity of the molecule. And in that three-dimensional orientation will come, what we call it as a configuration. And depending upon the connectivity, molecules can be isomeric to each other. They can be diastereomic isomers, or they can be mirror images of each other, which we call it as enantiomers. So they can display. And molecules are also can be very rigid. Molecule can also be flexible. What we refer it as a conformation of the molecules. Then after that, next comes the electronics of the molecules. Electronics arrangements in the molecules. There are electrons which are deep inside, which are generally not suitable, not involved in the interaction with at the periphery, but they are forming the solid internal structure. Then comes to the electrons at the periphery. So peripheral electrons will provide the electronic structure of that molecule. And since these electrons are continuously moving, they also create field around the molecules. So there is electrostatic environment they will create, and also electric environment they create. So that's we refer it as a electronics around the molecules. And these are very important when it comes to molecular interactions and molecular interactions among themselves or intermolecular reactions. And molecules in vapor phase is almost singular. When it comes to the liquid phase, they are internally depending upon the functional groups present in the molecules. They can be closely connected, or they can be. And when it goes to the further down the condensed phase, what we call it is solid phase, then the crystal structure, polymorphism, and other issues will come into. And at all these levels, it affects its properties. Polymer properties affects its solubility and other characteristics. Liquid phase property, it depends upon the viscosity and many other properties are there. In the vapor phase, of course, molecules are almost singular. That's why most of the physical chemistry studies are carried out in the gas phase. Gas phase, so that influence of any other molecule is not present. And for molecular interactions, we are more concerned with the peripheral electronics of the molecule. What we refer it as how these molecular electrons are present, which are involved in the interactions with the another molecule. And this is, there are two ways of understanding this. One of the major way of understanding is through molecular orbital theories. How the molecular orbitals are there and which are at the frontiers for the reaction. What they call it as a frontier molecular orbitals. And these are the ones, electrons present in these frontier molecules are involved in the reactions or in the interaction with the another molecules. And these interactions, depending upon the forces involved, how interactive forces involved, which is recognized by way of delta G or Gibbs free energy. If the Gibbs free energy is very low, the interactions are very what we call very soft interactions will be there. As the Gibbs free energy increases, the interactions become so very strong, and at one point they become irreversible. They form a stable complex and they become irreversible. In the drug molecules, we don't want it to reach to such a level that the interaction becomes irreversible, unless in case of cancers where we want to kill the cells, or microorganisms where we want to kill the cells. Even if the molecule goes and interacts covalently also is okay, because that will be expelled along with the debris of the organism. But we do not want such kind of interactions in the human system. Human receptor, we don't want a molecule to go and sit there permanently by way of covalent bonding. So the forces have to be adjusted such a way that it will go interact and bring about sufficient interaction with the molecule and come out and should be able to go out of the system, what we call it as elimination. So the designer, molecular designers have to take into consideration this level of interactions. And there are various methods of molecular designs are there. One is, of course, for a drug molecule only I will talk about. For drug molecules, one as I already told you, it is an analog designs. Already known set of molecule is there. Then we get a QSA or some mathematical model, and based on using that model, we keep on improving the molecule and create a new molecule out of that. That's one set. And second, now the more popular method is fragmentation based design. Various fragments they will take, they launch in the protein, and once they are launched in the protein at a desired receptor site, they will connect each other. Once that is connected, a new molecule is created, which is expected to have the desired interactions. This interaction not necessarily means that it will give the required outcome, but definitely it interacts. What you have to understand is molecular interaction can be an inhibition interaction, or it can be a desired activity interaction, or it can be a toxicity interactions, and so on. So there are various kind of interactions are there with the molecule. So there are now softwares are available for molecular design by using but we can also do the molecular docking analysis. You can do fragmentation based drug designs, or intuitional drug design is still a popular method that in spite of all these tools, you may not be able to get a desired molecule, but suppose somebody feel that this is the way if I construct a molecule, then maybe probably it may show the activity that we call still intuition plays a major role. And along with the intuition, another important or a major role that still plays in the drug design is serendipity. Serendipity, that's why whenever one is involved in this molecular design and molecular interaction, you have to be a very keen observer so that we will have an opportunity to get some serendipitous observations. Otherwise, general trend is that you synthesize molecule and give it to somebody for testing. by this way, what we miss is, we miss the serendipitous observations. So that is a very important aspect of drug discovery program. What I am now involved is in the SNI lipid design, which I am using it for delivery of small interfering RNA. But you all know that RNA is a charged molecules and is a polymeric charged molecules which directly cannot enter into the cell. So we have first requirement is that you have to cover those charges and then send there as a liposome or as a system which is non-charged system which can go and internalize the cell. So in this case, what the design requirement is that you need for making a liposome lipidic system, and for interacting with the siRNA, you require an ionic system in the molecule. So you have to club this ionic system with proper distancing and a long tail to provide it hydrophobicity. And this design, if you do it, it is a very high probability of interacting with the siRNA and internalizing it. And one of the important requirement of siRNA, what has been found out, is that for siRNA, pKa, surface pKa they call it as, should be around 6.5 to 7.5. If the surface pKa of the lipid is around 6.5 to 7.5, this will be able to bind to the siRNA and take it inside. Now, using the biological terminology, they call this system as a synthetic vector. So for chemistry people, that vector is slightly different, but from otherwise different vectors are used for delivering the siRNA. So this now people are calling it as a synthetic vector. So which is not a typical chemistry terminology. Chemistry terminology, we call it as a lipid and a liposome, etc. But if it is to be used from the biological standpoint of view, it becomes a synthetic vector. Synthetic vector to internalize siRNA. And we are able to successfully synthesize them, characterize them, and we have developed a model also and successfully show that siRNA is delivered. And this work we have done, the delivery work we have done in France. One of my student is working as a, we had collaboration even during a PhD, and that fellow got fellowship under Raman Charpak fellowship. He spent 6 months there in France. During that period, he took these molecules and studied the siRNA delivery, and was successfully shown that it is delivers siRNA. To that extent, we are successful in designing our molecule, and we have our own model for design. Now we can design a variety of lipids for different applications. So this is one of the major success we have got in molecular design. And another aspect of molecular design, see, the protein have a stability issues. There are various instability issues are there with respect to protein. One of the major stability issue is of protein aggregation. Aggregation is the major issue which has, so what we have designed an anti-aggregating molecules. Our design criteria was that current practice of protein anti-aggregating agent is, there are several anti-aggregating agents are there. They keep on screening, adding 1, 2, 3 mixtures, multiple mixtures, etc. and see whether one can achieve protein anti-aggregation effect. But what we noticed that instead of adding several molecules, we understood the molecular interaction with the protein, each molecule, how it interacts with the protein and how it affects the aggregation. We introduced all these features of different molecules in a single molecule. Hello? In a single molecule, and constructed one molecule as an anti-aggregating agent. And I'm very happy to say that, hello? Hello?
Sir, you are audible, sir.
You are able to hear me?
Yeah. Yes, yeah. You are audible.
So by designing a new molecule, by incorporating features of different molecules, we screened several molecules by using docking analysis, and all those features, key features of those molecules, we introduced one in a single new molecule and synthesized that molecule. While synthesizing that molecule, we kept in mind that we have to use the linkage, very fragile linkage you have to use, so that as soon as it enters into the biological system, those linkages should immediately break out and give a safer molecules, safer fragments. Otherwise, constructing a molecule with a high toxicity, which is not able to break in the biological system, may not be of any use. So it is very important to have what are the biotransformations which are very facile and which can occur at multiple places in a body, so that we can design such linkers where when these molecules enters into the body, quickly they are fragment off and protein is released and it performs its function. So while designing this aspect, also we keep in mind that how easy it should be made labile, biolabile. It should be stable in the chemical environment, but when it enters into the biological system, it should very easily fragment and give the fragment which are proven to be safe, so that there is no toxicity issue. Considering this aspect, and we developed our own model of molecular design, and we constructed a molecule containing lipid, carbohydrate, and other features which are which turn out to be one of the best anti-aggregating agent. So one single molecule you add, it performs the functions of multiple molecules. This is the second design which we have done very successfully, and it has been published in high impact journal, this protein anti-aggregating agents. The concept is the same, molecular interaction, and understand the docking analysis and what features are required, and those features put it in a molecule. And while putting these in the molecule, you consider the metabolic aspect of the molecule and safety, toxicity, and other aspect of the molecule and construct it. And this way, what is we are looking in the lipid design. Why lipid design is required is that natural lipids have structural limitations. You all know that very few lipids are approved for biological applications, and there also there is a structural limitation is there, property limitation is there. Except a few, hardly you find any natural lipid having amino group or a basicity in that molecule. So one requires a synthetic lipids where you can tune the properties, especially pKa related properties. So we have introduced an amino function in that, such a way that you can tune the basicity, or what we call as a pKa can be tuned, and you can use it for delivering the molecule. And we have also designed a molecule where pH switchable molecules. You can have at one pH, it forms a liposome. At another pH, liposome falls off because amino group now gets charged under that pH and liposome is no more stable. So what we have made it as a pH switchable lipids and so on. So like this, you can introduce multiple features in these molecules. This as far as the molecular design is concerned. And I do not want to go into more detail in that. Now, next I will go to molecular synthesis. When we are designing these molecules, one has to keep in mind its stability. It should be stable molecules. You cannot design a molecule which is not easy to make or not very stable. Suppose if we can design a molecule which can be made, which will decompose within half an hour, then that molecule has no use in any application, because it's a short, very unstable molecule is there. So while designing the molecule, we may design by using various methods, but after that the screening starts, whether this molecule will be stable, first part, stable, and second, whether this molecule will be toxic, that we have to screen. Then after that comes, depending upon your application, preliminary application, what purity of that molecule you require. For example, for medicinal purpose, for medicinal drug discovery, for initial screening, you may not require a molecule of high purity. Even 90+ purity, even up to 95% purity is sufficient. Second is that how much quantity you require. For drug discovery and in vitro studies, a molecule even in milligram quantity is sufficient. So then we can synthesize them, not much issues are there. And also another important factor comes in the synthesis design is how fast molecule you want. Suppose if you are designed a synthesis which takes 6 months to make that molecule, then the research program slows down. So we have to also consider speed of synthesis. Speed of synthesis, you have to consider stability, quantity, purity, and then of course characterization, etc. Those are there. Suppose if you require a molecule in larger quantities, then the synthetic schemes will be slightly different, because when you make a larger quantity, you also take into consideration the cost aspect. If suppose if you design a route which is very expensive, you may not be able to implement it unless you have enough resources. We have to also consider that wherever we are working, our resources are limited. Very limited resources we have to work with. So there you have to also take into consideration resource availability, and then based on this preliminary aspect, then we design a synthetic plan. And while designing in synthetic plan, as far as possible, we try to see whether advanced intermediate available. So a knowledge of availability of the material also very useful. So if the advanced intermediate is available, you need not have to do multiple steps. You can do a couple of steps and complete the synthesis, so that the other activity, for example, whatever your intended application, screening starts. So that is the design part is there. Then after that, once the compound shown to be very promising, now they want it on a larger quantity. Then the synthesis design again changes, because you have to develop a route which is a scalable. It is a scalable route, which would be a safer route, and also the availability of the material cost is always a factor. Moment if you go to a larger scale, cost becomes more prominent, and then safety issues, etc., will come into the picture. So that comes at a level 2, what we call it as a, suppose the drug, in vitro drug is you have studied, now you want to go to animal studies. For animal studies, you require in larger quantities. To making larger quantities, if the molecules are complex, that is out of question. Then you have to go for, in ordinary, in average laboratory, such molecules cannot be done, because infrastructure, cost requirement, manpower requirement, not only manpower requirement, even skilled manpower requirement is a crucial part. So you, from this you can appreciate that complex molecules and complex synthetic chemistry one should not take up in a facility where there is not backup is there. Otherwise your research will not progress. You may be having great idea, but it is not implementable. So there the advanced laboratory where huge resources, infrastructure, manpower is available, they can do it, but we will not be able to do it. So we have to be careful in designing, selecting the molecule in such a way that you should be able to implement your research. Otherwise, all this activity of no use, because you are not able to implement it. So implementation is a key factor in the research. Whatever, even if little lesser idea you can work, but it should be implementable. And not only just implementable, implement well in a reasonable period of time. Nowadays, research has become a high-speed activity. You can't have a luxury of working 1 year, 2 year, 4 year. By the time you finish your work, probably you may be outdated also. So the speed component is there. So for our research participants, they have to take into consideration speed of the research at which you will be able to do resource requirement, and then only the idea implementation will become successful. Otherwise, only just having an idea is not sufficient. It is an essential, but the idea has need to be screened with respect to these aspects. Then only you can comfortably implement it and your research will progress. And as it progresses, then resources will come depending upon the output and so on. So this is one I would like to bring to the younger researchers, that it is not just having an idea is not sufficient. Having an implementable idea is also equally an important aspect. So you have to take into consideration implementability. And next aspect, what you have to take into consideration is how much dependency, how much independency. So you should not take up a research project which is dependent on others for too too many requirements. Then your research will not progress. And sometimes that dependency breaks down for some reason, your research will come to standstill. So as far as possible, try to be self-sufficient and take advantage of help of others only in a crucial some phases. But by and large, you should be self-reliant. That is a key aspect in the research activity. So when we design the synthesis, we take into consideration these aspects we take into consideration. For example, by being in the place here, suppose if I want certain chemicals, I may not be able to get in 1 month, 2 months, then research slows down and everything becomes slower. So then I have to take into consideration this aspect. Either I have to develop an area where resources are available here, or you should be able to source it very fast. So these are the key aspects which one. And then also when you are designing the synthesis, what is another aspect you have to look is that knowledge of chemistry. So you should not design a synthetic route where knowledge is less. Enough advanced knowledge is available. You should appreciate what is knowledge available, utilize it and use it so that your work progresses faster. Otherwise, many people take up the research project where there is the knowledge is not available. So they keep on creating the knowledge. It is a nice idea to create knowledge, but your project will not go faster. So you have to be continuously balancing this, especially in these days where everything has to be done fast. Otherwise, in earlier days, research was more as a hobby. The days were different. Today, research is beyond a hobby. Hobby is anyway is there. In addition to it is also an organized activity, and somebody is funding, somebody is asking for the money or the output. So you have to balance. Consider that you are an employed researcher. You are not a hobby researcher. If you can merge your hobby and also your employment, it will be wonderful. Otherwise, you have to appreciate that somebody is funding, somebody is providing the facility, you have to give the output. So there is no question to be asked. You are supposed to do what is money is given, facility is given, time is given, and there will be accountability. To accommodate in this, you have to design your research project. Research project has to be designed so that all these requirements are fulfilled. Now coming to the, I'm also working with the industry. Some aspect of industrial requirements I will put it. I'm working as a consultant for process and chemistry synthesis, where that we work at 3 levels. In one industry, I'm working for making the chemicals for drug discovery programs. Bigger industries like Pfizer and Eli Lilly, etc., they outsource their research material because if they keep on doing by themselves, it takes very long time. So they outsource it so that parallel work goes on everywhere and the time of patent is reduced. Suppose once the molecule is patented, they want to go faster so that product can be launched. Whatever time they get in launching faster, they get more time in the market. To speed up that, one of the activity they are doing is they quickly start outsourcing and get the material in the larger quantity. So practically multiple countries are participating in their activity. Somebody doing biological activity, somebody is doing synthetic activity, and so on. I am connected with an industry where we are giving preclinical materials. Preclinical materials, they ask for 1 kilo, 2 kilos, and so on. So there the chemistry design is different, because there, in addition to the chemistry cost, speed also is important, because they want material in 2 months, material want in 4 months. So that so those synthesis design, we have to do catering to those requirements. Now coming to the next requirement is that there are competitive products out there. In the competitive products, you have to take into consideration cost and price of the competitor and various steps involved, and how to bring down the cost. In addition to the chemistry, and in addition, one more requirement of the drug industry is that if a drug molecule is drug master file is filed, then they don't allow you to change the process. Not a single, suppose if you are using a sodium hydroxide, they will not allow you to change to potassium hydroxide. So that is the stringent requirement. And even if you make a small change, then you have to again go through the regulatory, etc. There's a very expensive, lengthy process. So the process gets frozen. So while developing the process, we have to take into consideration that it is going to be frozen. There is no much scope to improve it. Beginning only, we keep it this into mind and start our activity. And in this process research, the approach is slightly different. As I told you, chemistry is definitely there. In addition to chemistry, we have to take environmental side, we have to take the process side, we have to take the engineering side, and also we have to take the toxicity side to the women who are working around. And if your industry is located in a closer to the city, then additional local people also gets involved in that, because industrial activity is such that it you have to accommodate whatever is available. Sometimes you have to accommodate whatever infrastructure is available. Sometimes you have to create new infrastructure. And here also, right now, for example, government has come out with a scheme, what they call it as a PLI scheme, Product Linked Incentive Scheme. Those, and they have given a list of some 60 molecules. Those who can make this molecule and put it in the market, they will get 5% incentive on the price. They will get extra 5%. Now in pharma industry, everybody is running after it, and this incentive is for a period of 5 years. So if you do it faster, you will get longer time to get that incentive. And to get that, this incentive has come up basically to deal with the China, where there is a import issues are coming up. So
Sir, you are not audible. I think sir has again got disconnections. I think sir is again.
Sir is trying to reconnect, sir.
Reconnect. Okay, fine. I think sir, it will take time. Let us switch on the camera. Let us all switch on the camera. Yes. 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 Very interesting talks he was giving. It's very interesting as such.
Yes.
How do you like it? This talk, you understood that he has started from the very basic, the
Yes.
designing of a molecules, and how to prepare a molecule itself, and then how to synthesize that molecules for further in actions. and the novelty of the molecule itself for development of the drugs.
It was really very interesting, sir.
Very interesting, and all of us, and some of his suggestions is very clear.
Yes.
That medical sciences or allied sciences research need a very strong base of chemistry, and that's the fundamental. Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yeah. That's the fundamental that he has given an idea, and also very clearly said, which I used to tell to all of you always, that you must do the research which you have an infrastructure at the moment in your hand. That should be the 70% to 80% of your work you can carry out. That much project you must do, which you can do it, not to depend too much of outsides. Because depending too much of outside to get the benefit and get it done may not be successful for a long-standing research.
Yes.
So we need a solid infrastructure, and we are going ahead on that. Very soon we will be having advanced research center, and all the things will be done. So I really thanks to all of you. Because of such an infrastructure, we are able to do quite a good, interesting impact research as such. We can do it in such an infrastructure. What Professor Akmanchi sir very clearly said, that you require a high-level, sophisticated laboratory and all the facilities, including resource persons, to do this job. So
yes,
I really appreciate all of you for at least doing some research which you have done an impact in the society as such molecular level. That is not an easy task to do it from a remote place, university and institution itself. And I also always should tell the deep knowledge and strong knowledge of a molecule itself is very important. Chemistry understanding is a fundamental for any of the research itself, whether it is the physics or it is the biology. Chemistry stands in between. So I think that we must explore more and more such type of interactions with the scholarly people who can give us more input on these issues.
yes.
So anyway, now I like to ask Shureka, what you are doing now during this period? Yeah, please tell about your research and your ideas and what you are doing.
No, sir. Actually, I thought I would put a leave and start writing for my PhD article. So actually, I am on leave for since 5 days, but I am not able to write a single sentence for 3 days. Because I had one webinar, I was a part of the webinar, sir, in Karnataka chapter, Indian Association of Pathology and Microbiology. It was a webinar series was there.
Very good.
So I was a resource person for a research methodology.
Very good.
Research design and sampling technique. Basically, usually we are dependent on a community medicine statistician, but I was basically PhD student, and I am also very much interested to know about the design. So I said yes, and 3 days I read about the research design, and I could able to deliver the lecture on research design for a first year. Actually, it was for a first year postgraduate for synopsis writing.
Very good. Very good.
So 3 days I did that. Then our 29th, our postgraduate synopsis submission was the last day.
Right.
So, sitting with them
that
for synopsis
was
submission.
Yes.
Then,
Shubhankara is also laughing because she also same boat sister.
Yes.
So, but I am on leave, but I am still working.
So that happens every time.
I am not able to write my for my PhD work. I am not able to do it. So I am little.
That part I will take care of you. I will take a task to you. That is separate. I will do it. Don't worry for that one. Yes.
Sir is not able to connect, sir. But sir is on phone call, sir. Sir wants to talk with the phone. I have put in on the speaker, sir.
Okay, then.
Sir?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir is audible. Okay, fine. So
sir, you can.
Yeah, sir, you can continue the rest of the part. You continue, sir. Please. Hello.
Can I talk now?
Yes. You please talk, sir. Please talk.
Now I will not take more than 5 minutes more.
No problem, sir. Please go ahead.
Maybe we will repeat this with slides in the second time, one more time, some time data.
Sure, sir. Sure.
With proper research data also I have, so that I can present it, the work which we have carried out with respect to molecular design and the success which we have achieved in various aspects. I can show my research work and also with proper slides. Okay?
Sure, sir. Sure.
Slide was not to be used, so I have not. Otherwise, it would have been different. Anyway, it's okay. Now, just to come to closer to the end. So, molecular synthesis, what we are looking at is that a synthetic molecule, once it goes to the scale, at a laboratory scale, one kind of expertise is required. And once it starts going up to the higher scale, the expertise required will be different, because handling the material in a larger quantity is different than handling the material in a smaller quantity, because most of the time safety issues are there, heat transfer problems are there, mass transfer problems are there, decomposition problems are there. See, for example, if you are doing charging a 100 ml material, it will take just few seconds, but whereas same material, if you have to do 100 liters, 10,000 liters to be added to the reactor, it may take more than an hour. So the 1 hour time that goes on. So there are various aspects are there, what we call it the scale-up aspect. So the scale-up aspect is a different aspect altogether, and different expertise is required. So as a consultant, I am interacting there also at the scale-up level. And based on the scale-up requirements, we tune the chemistry at the laboratory level. And one additional thing that has happened to the pharma industry now is that they are very stringent on the impurity. Impurity profile has become a very important requirement for pharma industry. And day by day, the impurity level they are improving. Earlier, 1% was okay. Now, 0.1 is okay. Now they are coming down to 0.05%. To get a product with such a low level of impurity itself has become a major challenge in pharma industry. So the impurity identification, impurity not batch to batch, impurity retaining the same, etc. There is another kind of expertise where we require extensive implementation facility and expertise in identification of those impurities. So the structural elucidation and structural identification expertise is another dimension which is required in this molecular design. So you should be able to only making molecule is not sufficient. It has to be identified, structural characterization, and so on. So in addition to that, the synthetic expertise, one is also expected to have expertise in structural elucidation. Structural elucidation and advanced instrumentation. So both have to go hand in hand, and especially with respect to the drug technology development, the infrastructure requirement at the pilot scale is very extensive, especially as I told you repeatedly, it is impurities that is becoming a major concern in pharma industry today. Then the purity is now expected that it should be pure, but they are looking for what are the impurities, and these impurities are sometimes they also insist that impurities should be identified and you should have the toxicological evaluation of that. And another part now which has become major also in the pharma industry is genotoxic impurities. Using the genotoxic raw materials which have potential genotoxic impurities are not to be used. Even if you use them, there are very stringent controls on this percentage present in the final molecule and workers, etc. So the genotoxicity is another aspect which is really putting a very high pressure, huge pressure on pharma industry to avoid many materials which were otherwise conventionally used. And the third aspect that is well known is the environmental aspect. So many solvents, these solvents should not be used, that solvent should not be used, etc. So there is another aspect is there. So around with all these stringent requirements, you have to do the process development. So the chemistry requires to be continuously retuned, and bring the product to the desired level. Avoid this, avoid this, avoid that. See, suddenly they will say, this particular compound now cannot be used. So this solvent cannot be used. You have to secure for the solvent. Again, you have to develop the entire chemistry, handling of that solvent, cost, and so on and so forth. So this is an expertise by itself, because there are two, three aspects here. There are regulatory people, there is a commercial aspect, there is a scale aspect. When all these are successful, then only the product gets launched. And unfortunately, we have not such a high level of expertise in these areas. That's why, moment some adjustment is possible, people go for China and bring it and start using it. So the government is now saying, we'll give incentive, develop the skills here only, and see that India can become self-reliant. This is with respect to the process and process and technology related aspects, where I am extensively consulting, and we are working on product. I'm working with an industry where they are making quinolone antibiotics, they are making ketoconazole and antifungal series, and they are also making the products which the anti-diabetic series. The companies, of course, have a huge turnover, and every new molecule coming up, we have to go through the extensive studies and safety studies, etc., and then it goes to the pilot scale. And by doing all this, there's a time frame is given. So what we continuously deadlines, we have to keep on working with the deadlines. This is a very hectic activity, and once you success, it's a very enjoyable activity, and you get an opportunity to see what your expertise, what your knowledge is now being used on a large scale and product is produced. That joy is different. And with this joy, of course, you are also compensated for your knowledge which you are contributing. I think with this, I would like to take the opportunity to the organizers to thank for inviting me to give this talk. Maybe some other opportunity, I'll be able to give with proper slides, etc., the design criteria and the success stories I will be able to highlight with you. So with this, may I now conclude?
Yes, sir.
So
Thank you
Sir,
very much. I'm
sir,
sorry there was a interruption was there. Maybe next time I will, by the time this COVID goes out, now we'll be able to do it in our conference.
Sir. Sir wants to speak, sir. Das sir wants to speak, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
So at the onset, I really want to give you thanks, profound thanks and gratitude to accept the invitation from the Research Club, Department of Physiology. And I want to tell you that you have given such an input in spite of certain difficulties in communication, but your talk was so superb and knowledgeable, and we are really enriched with many of the information in a short period of time. So this is really wonderful to interact with you. And normally, sir, we do it in a offline. So this is the first time we are doing it online, and we like to see each other because it's a club. So club meeting is always with all peoples and debate and argument. So that's
a good idea.
Yeah.
Proper slides and
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is very important for us. And you have wonderfully spoken about the science, specifically the importance of the understanding of a research to select that what type of research we should select, knowing our infrastructure, our strength, our weakness is a very important, specifically for the young researcher to start. So these are the aspects also you have highlighted beside your talk on the molecule and designing and synthesis, but you have also given the talk. We are very much enriched of that. I think that some questions will be coming from some other my colleagues and students. Let them have a chance to interact with you. Dr. Jyoti, you please convey the questions to sir.
If
Please unmute and ask the question.
Yes. Sir, now the participants will ask some questions, sir,
Okay, no problem.
if they have. So kindly unmute and ask the questions if you have any questions, any queries.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Jyoti.
Communication issues are coming.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I think I do not know how much you can again communicate to sir and get to know about the answers. Just I wanted to know for everybody, it is what is the basic infrastructure we should have to construct one molecule like that, something like that. So what is the basic infrastructure? Advanced laboratory means what is the basic infrastructure? I wanted to know from the sir.
What infrastructure is needed? Basic infrastructure is needed.
Yeah. How much it will cost?
And how much it will cost, sir? Surekha ma'am is for basic research.
Infrastructure.
In molecular designs.
Okay, I'll tell you. One is computational side is there. Let us leave it aside. Most important is that you should have a synthetic laboratory first and instrumentation. Basically, you should have mass spectrometry, NMR spectrometry, IR, and HPLCs for analytical purposes. These are the key required, and plus skilled manpower. The most important is you require a very skilled manpower for synthesis and
কোশ্চেন চলছে, শুরু হলো ফার্স্ট কোশ্চেন। চাটা ছেঁকে নে তো।
and other issues are there. They are all taken care of. I think we should be able to establish a good synthetic laboratory.
And how much it costs, sir?
It may be NMR instrument, depending upon the sophistication, it may be 1 crore to 1.5 crore. And a good mass spectrometry will cost around 80 lakhs to 1 crore. And of course, the analytical facilities, suppose even if you have to see HPLCs and other things, that is another maybe around 50-60 lakhs. Total, I can say around 4 crores if you have, you can set up a good laboratory.
Okay.
Surekha ma'am, is it audible, Surekha ma'am?
Yeah, audible, very much audible. Thank you.
It's fuming hood is required and so on.
Okay.
But it will be a rewarding activity, I'll tell you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Please, if anyone is having question, please ask.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes.
I'm Dr. Swastika Das speaking. Sir, thank you so much for your enlightening lecture. I just want to see, because I have never visited any pharmaceutical industry and I do not know how the process goes on, synthesis and all those things. But I understand that when we, any laboratory that drug synthesis goes on, lots of chemicals are used. How these chemicals or the synthesis process pollutes the environment, especially water resources, and should those laboratories are having some water purification processes? So how I want to know about it.
Different kinds of waters are used. One, of course, ion exchange, demineralized water.
Yes.
You are asking what quality of water is used?
No. I am asking that how the synthesis process, because drug synthesis requires use of lots of chemicals, isn't it, sir?
Yes, yes.
Chemicals and solvents and all those things.
Yes,
so some things we always discard, and how this discard of these laboratories comes out and pollutes the water bodies, or water pollution occurs due to this kind of industries.
Pollution you are talking about,
Yes,
no?
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll tell you. See, what is the pollution? What is usually done is that each stream is segregated. Suppose if I am doing a reaction in the laboratory, I am not supposed to wash everything in the same thing.
Okay.
Segregate. Certain things I have to remove separately, wash it separately, and so on. So you have to segregation is the first part.
Yes, sir.
Segregation is over. Then the ones which are highly toxic, then they have to be dealt separately. They have to detoxify and then remove it. If they are reasonably okay, then these all are collected and put in biodigesters.
Okay.
Process. Where microbial activity is going on, we can add into that sludge and we get biodegraded.
Sir, and also, sir, Swastika Das ma'am is asking about because of this drug synthesis process, whatever the pollution is coming, how we are going to handle
Reduce,
that,
handle.
how we are going to handle or how we are going to reduce the pollution which is produced due to synthesis of the drug.
So I'll tell you, in the pharma industry right now, is that as far as possible recycle, purify and recycle, or distill. Say suppose if you are using water, so what they want is you distill water, evaporate it, and take out the dissolved solid separately and incinerate, so that zero effluent is there. So don't allow anything to myself, and wherever possible recycle. If not possible, if you are using water highly dissolved with there, you evaporate that water, and whatever solid remains behind, take that solid and incinerate.
Okay.
Or take that solid, put it in the biodigester, digesting. So no effluent should go out of the pharma industry right now, especially many which are highly toxic. We have to first detoxify, segregate it, detoxify, and then after detoxified material to be taken to biodigester.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
And as far as possible, try to avoid, now the technology trend is try to avoid problematic chemicals. So find out substitute for it or alternate synthetic route you take out so that those materials are not to be used and so on. So the trend is changing. And it is possible, if there is a will is there, it is possible to make processes safe and less.
Okay, sir. We would like to interact with you offline. Whenever you come here, we will listen to your lecture and get our doubts clear very nicely. Okay.
All of us.
Ma'am wants to speak
Okay.
to you later.
Hello.
Any question from any? Okay. Any question from others?
Any question? Any question further to share?
No.
Anyone want to ask question to sir?
If nobody is asking question, I have
Okay.
one more question. Sir, please, are you working on nanomedicine? Like, is there any scope of nanomedicine nowadays?
Yes, yes. Scope is definitely there. Nanomedicine scope is there. Only thing you have to identify the right drug which should be converted into nanomedicine.
Okay. Are you doing, sir, on this line? Are you doing any work, sir?
Nanomedicine is the future.
Okay, sir. Still now, is it possible to synthesize nanomedicines?
Yes, yes. No, nanomedicine is really different. So nanomedicine is a few molecules to be put it in a nano format. Nanoparticles or nano emulsions or nano like micelles and so on. So those we refer it as a nanomedicine.
Like a vehicle.
Yes, it is a slow process because drugs, even if you produce nanomedicine, it has to go through approval process, clinical trials, and it is a very long, drawn process. That's why you may not see much advances, innovations in the medicine-related area so fast. It takes its own time. A pace is there.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
For example, this COVID itself, vaccine, how much time it take, how much
Taking.
and so on. This entire world is working, still it is taking so much time because the procedure, because the human factor is there. Main is it is going for human,
Yes, sir.
It is going to the women when they are sick. So the second part also is they're not going to healthy women. So that's why every regulatory agencies are very stringent on these aspects. That's why drug discovery area is a very, very slow process, very expensive, and at any stage it can face a difficulty.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So, maybe you are almost reached to a phase 3 level. Suddenly something is noticed, then the entire program comes to standstill or gets withdrawn. So you can imagine time spent, money spent, man hours spent, and at the end of the day, only you have experience, but no other thing in hand.
Okay, sir.
Sir, thank you very much. I think the time has come to, we have to conclude, and I really want to this ones, and there will be formalities of this one we are having. I asked Dr. Jyoti and Dr. Shumangala to conclude it now.
Okay, thank
you. No, just Dr. Jyoti and Dr. Shumangala, the head of the department. Dr. Shumangala.
Yes. So we come to the end of the this research club, and I extend my heartfelt thanks to Professor Akmanche sir for extensively enlightening us about this molecular and nano research methods also. And thank you very much, sir, so that all our young scientists will be enlightened to do this.
There was some internet issue was there.
Yes.
Some other time we take this advanced.
Yes, sure, sir. We will interact with you once you will be here. A one-to-one interaction can also be done along with you, sir. And I also thank all the participants and Professor Kushal Das sir for joining. And of course, sir is our inspiration. Das sir is our inspiration to conduct all the research also. So thank you very much, all the participants. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, you can all can now log off now. All can now log off. Thank you very much.
All the participants can log off now.